Welcome to the official, unofficial Alien Earth
colon Earth. Thank
podcast.
To me.
That's good.
Yeah, great. What an ep.
Ep3.
What an ep.
I immediately, when we started this ep, I 100% went back on what I said earlier. This is absolutely alien horror or sci-fi horror.
This was much more of a horror-centered episode, yes. Much scarier.
We started off our episode, which we couldn't remember how the episode 2 had ended, which was, we were immediately reminded our boy had been kidnapped by the alien, because every once in a while, the alien stops from indiscriminate killing and tends to string up a victim or two. Or if you're watching Alien, was it 3 where they were all down the hallway, or is that Romulus?
Alien 3 was the one in the prison.
Yeah. Either way, every once in a while, the alien indiscriminately chooses someone and says, I'm going to put you on a wall. Don't know why, but the alien did. Sister went hunting for it, found him in a shipping container. A brief battle ensued,
Which was awesome.
The battle was awesome.
Quite the cool move for her to hook the alien's inside mouth.
Oh yeah, the little tiny
and
mouth. The
drag
tiny
it
mouth came out.
around
That was
like
awesome.
a giant.
Just slung
fish.
that meat hook in it.
That was something I had not seen in the Alien series so far.
What I've also haven't seen in the Alien series. This is the first time that someone has been, I would say, an equal to the alien, right? Or close, right? She actually ends up killing the alien. We didn't actually see that, but we're so used to like run and hide to the method. Eventually, you might get in the loader like Sigourney Weaver does in Aliens and fight the thing for a second. But for the most part, you are running in fear from the alien at all times. We, of course, know that the alien's blood is acid. They maneuver to kind of throw the alien in an elevator.
It was a big giant door.
Yeah.
That then I don't think it was an elevator.
Maybe a cargo door, maybe
like
a
a
storage
cargo
door,
or something like that ends up
a
decapitating
high security
the alien
elevator.
And I gotta say, I was very surprised. I did not expect them to kill an alien.
I also
by
didn't expect
episode
that.
3.
I didn't expect us to leave the ship so quick, but we'll get to that too.
There was a version of this show where they're not showing the alien until deep into the first season, and they're certainly not killing one until like the season finale. But they showed it, pretty immediately in episode 1, and then they kill one in episode 3. The second time we sat down to watch Ace, since 1 and 2 were together.
Duopoly of an ep.
Drastically different from the movies, where the whole thing leads up to the ability to kill these aliens.
Also, most of the movies, there are several attempts to kill the alien that don't work.
Yes, so several plans
set.
that are...
This one seemed to have set.
Immediately.
So she throws the alien into this elevator, gets pulled into this closet elevator, whatever we're calling it, with the alien on accident, and the door closes. This was one of the funnier moments of the television show, which was how quickly this medic, her brother, was able to just hack the door.
Yeah.
He pulled that panel off and was hot wiring that so fast.
Yeah.
I was like, is this common knowledge in the future, how to like break into these ramp doors? Because he had that thing. It wasn't even a like pull out the wires, look at him, go, I don't know. It was just, he popped the thing, pulled the wires, and was immediately...
How long would it take you to hotwire a car?
A car?
A car.
And I'm a car guy.
Yeah. Car guy to car guy.
A pretty long time, depending on the car.
It's going to take me a little while, and it's really going to come down to how good my Google search results are.
the YouTube you found for that car and how to hotwire. Is it a Kia? Because apparently those are very easy.
That does not surprise me. He's able to hotwire this door, the first combination of colors,
within seconds. There's no like staring at the panel behind. There's no connecting your hacker equipment like you're used to in a sci-fi movie. He just rips that door open. He's like, there are 2 wires. I connect the wires.
Maybe he's just a door guy. I don't know.
He could be a big door guy.
A door enthusiast.
He was going
My mother-in-law
to return to
loves
medical
doors.
school. Your mother-in-law loves doors.
Yeah.
I could see that. Like architecturally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of doors that she goes and hacks. Like, I guess you could hack your door. I was going to say you can't hack most doors, but actually the door that I just came in, you could hack that door.
It does have electronics. You
Not
could
to
maybe
give away
hack
security breaches to your castle here. But I thought it was an interesting choice to put the children on equal footing with the xenomorph.
Yeah, at
in
least
episode
her.
3.
The other ones aren't as comfortable, I think, with their powers, but she.
But they do have the equivalent powers, don't they? So conceivably, the whole team could go mano a mano with a xenomorph and give as good as they got.
Yep.
Maybe they don't win every game. Maybe they don't sweep the series.
Well, during this battle, like not to shortchange the alien did some severe damage to her during whatever battle we didn't see happen behind there, because she was smashed up and unconscious and bleeding her little white blood all over the place.
And there's some online speculation that maybe during the time we don't see the two of them together, because we don't see the conclusion of the actual combat.
The door
Obviously,
opens and the head is no longer on the alien.
But what happened in that time? Was the alien able to implant something in the tiny child? Okay. Is a speculation. No spoilers.
I could see that. I was reading a similar speculation about her being connected to the alien somehow, which they somewhat adhere to, but I think it's pretty clear, and we'll get to this as well later in the synopsis, that what she's freaking out about is the sound, because they make some when she's begging to be let go to the ship, they're doing this audio test and they're showing that she can hear things that other people can't hear, that she's able to pick up things that are like way above a human's.
Yes.
And that to me was some strong foreshadowing to what we hear later, which is like the baby's crying in the egg when they're trying to mutilate them or test them.
Well, that lost, let's say, 60 seconds there is on my radar. I'm watching this.
Yeah. Now, while this is happening, away from our main characters, our other lost boys are collecting the species. Our good friend that was supposed to be going with her. Just look this up here. Slightly was hanging out by the alien eggs, just interested in them, thought they were pretty cool. At this point, our dude Morrow, our Wayland dude, our Wayland cyborg shows up, and he wants the eggs. This is the first time he doesn't kind of indiscriminately kill someone.
This is our guy from the spaceship.
Yep.
Who has crashed.
He's the only survivor, other than, of course, the alien species.
Right now, he's a little bit of a rogue presence on the show.
And this is when we kind of find out that he's not just he's not a synthetic. He's just like an enhanced human, and we find out that he's a little bit troubled by the fact that he had to make these decisions for the company and make these sacrifices, and that seems to make him more determined to acquire this alien species, because I think he thinks of this all as a huge sacrifice.
Well, he doesn't have a ton left. He's been gone for
65 years.
A lifetime, basically. All of his relatives are dead or grown on. All of his fantasy football teams are long since abandoned. He has no idea what the trends are in indie rock. His beers have gone bad.
Yeah,
the
he's not
hops.
going to want to pop those open.
He doesn't have anything really to live for except to
the
complete
stouts,
his
stouts
mission.
might be aged nicely.
No, not that long. Not
too
65.
long?
That's way too long. He'd have to be a wine guy. And does he look like a wine guy to you?
He does not look like a wine guy. But he does have that cool knife hand where he can pop a cork, I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, he's super cool. Wine guys are not cool.
There you go. Fair enough. So our not wine guy gets intercepted by the synthetic. Our good friend Justified shows up. Kirsch, and is like, I'm going to need you to leave the kids alone. At this point, he is holding slightly by the neck. Our other lost kid had showed up to find him as well. Was it Shmi? Yeah, Shmi came and found him, which is the very childlike one. And the two of them together, I think, are the biggest infection of childlike behavior. When the two of them are together, they want to goof off and wrestle, and that's when the cyborg shows up, whispers something about, are you human? When is a human not a human? Or when is a robot when is a robot a human?
Yeah.
And implant something in his neck, which Kirsch doesn't see, that we'll get to later in the episode. Kirsch kind of scares him off. He's like,
he very much scares him off.
Yeah,
We were
he's like-
talking in the last app about the elephant not doing his big justified deadwood, hardline, no nonsense.
he played that
Sheriff.
character in that scene for sure.
For sure, there was absolute ice cold menace to it. Yeah, it was a little bit different because he's also playing a robot, but
I loved
It
it
was that
because he didn't
same-
even think to pull a weapon. He was just like, you know what I am. You know what this is. I'm gonna need you to go. I'm surprised he let him go though.
yeah, I'm a little surprised by that too. But
But
I'm
you know,
sure
they
we'll-
were getting all their samples together. This point, they kind of exit the ship. They've got the alien with the head chopped off. They've captured all of the other species. We think. I'm gonna make an assumption here that they've cleared the ship of the species that they want, and there aren't any. We're not going to spend some time in the television show about like one or two species that somehow got loose and continue to wreak havoc on the building. It seems like they kind of got a clean sweep and they're on their way out of there.
yeah, isn't it 10 eps?
That sounds right.
After the action that we've had, we can't have all of them being in little bottles. You know, there's going to be some aliens that are loose, whether that's
I think
your assumption is wrong or there's a bit of a quick jailbreak.
Yeah, obviously I think the aliens are going to escape. I just don't think it's going to be, I don't think we're going to go back to that set piece and explore that story of like, we didn't catch all of them. Boy Cavalier gets his stuff. He's really happy. Wayland's CEO, who was not the CEO, it was her mother who was the CEO when Morrow was hired 65 years ago, and so it was very interesting when
So
he's talking to
grandmother.
her. Grandmother? Yeah. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'm in charge now. You may not know this, when he calls. And she says, why don't you come back to base? We'll figure things out. And he says, no, I'm going to go get the alien. I've got an in. And she's like, it's not necessary. He's like, no. I have nothing. This is what I'm going to do. And that's kind of where I was like, oh, yeah, he seems very determined. He had a little bit of some monologue dialoguing with the other two about it would be so easy to be a synthetic, not like a human. Like it's the human elements of him that make his job very difficult as the security officer on the ship and having to make those decisions. It definitely seems like he actually has some empathy and some heart. He just had to, he also like made the company line choice and he's suffering for that. But also that's why I think he's so like dedicated to getting this alien back and the other species back is because he, otherwise it was for nothing.
I think he is the character I'm second most excited to spend time with in episode 4. I liked his story in episode 3. Number 1, of course, is the aliens.
Yep.
I like spending time with those little rugrats. But Morrow is very interesting to me, especially the introduction of his boss, maybe not direct boss, but all the way up to CEO, because that's the organization. That organization is still around in the events of...
Her organization is the main organization of the alien.
But Boy Cavalier's organization
is kind of new to this, I think.
Is new to this. And
obviously,
I don't think it survives.
I think it exists in the alien lore.
But as a historical
I don't know. I'd have to look. We may find out in these 10 eps that it doesn't exist anymore. I'm not familiar enough with the comics and books and all the other shit that goes on outside of it that would, give us some detail about it. But it's the Wayland Corp that is the most. That is the one that. That's the one that has constantly been going after this alien. The Wayland Corp is the one who's like trying to find the engineers and is trying to seek, eternal life. They are prominently featured in the Prometheus and onwards.
But that's not the same for Boy Cavalier's company. No. I'm assuming that part of the story is the downfall of that organization.
That's very possible.
And definitely the downfall of Boy Cavalier, because he's a dickhead.
He's got some hubris. Speaking to that, we get a wonderful side scene with probably, if you're listing Morrow as number 2, my third most interesting character, which is Curly.
Yeah, this was interesting.
She's one of the lost kids or the lost boys. She's the one that was in a wheelchair, and she thinks that Wendy is kind of wasting her talents. She learned French. She's reading books. She wants to play chess. She's very into, like, you gave me this supercomputer, I might as well use the supercomputer that is my head. She also seems the most mentally mature of the group so far.
And that leads to a conversation with Boy Cavalier, which is a little bit of a nod to the conversation he had with one of his employees in the first slate of eps about how nobody can be his intellectual equal. He's so bored by everybody that he talks to because they're all morons compared to him.
Yep.
And she comes in and basically says, hey, I bet I'm pretty interesting. And so you can see her gearing herself up to potentially become a antagonist, a big bad antagonist down the line of this season.
And the reminder that she is a child, I think, kind of happens towards the end where she goes, does this mean I'm your favorite now?
Yes.
And I think that's kind of a reminder of like, oh, she is still just seeking like parental approval at this point. But I didn't kind of see that turn at all, to be honest. I don't think it's a villain turn yet. It could totally become that. But she obviously has some sort of antagonism towards Wendy and doesn't really get why Wendy gets all the...
Yeah, this was the ep where I was starting to differentiate between the different Lost Boys. I mean, it's certainly not the most exciting things that happen in episode 1 and 2. There's a xenomorph, and there's time travel, and there's spaceships crashing, and there's new corporations. You're trying to learn who is who. And by the way, my least favorite corporate jargon: who's who in the zoo. I hate this.
Did they say that in the show?
No,
okay.
But I was saying who's who, and it reminded me that please don't ever say who's who in the zoo.
Well, now you don't know. It's like worse. Like it was never in my vocab, but now who's who in the zoo is in there.
Oh my goodness, it's all over. It's all over. And trying to figure out what the different organizations are, what the timeline is, what are the different types of humans and robots that we have. So the first couple eps, the personalities of the different Lost Boys was absolutely a swirled mess to me.
Yep.
And now they're starting to differentiate themselves a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see them actually have more personality that differs between them, because Kirsch definitely has this opinion of them that they're just robots, and that I don't know why we keep trying to put human attributes on them, but they clearly have some very distinct human attributes. I think it will be interesting. I hope they get a little bit of a chance to grow up just to see what that effect is, like if they actually do mentally mature or if they're just like keep the same attitudes that they have forever, because that'll be an interesting like effect on, you know, encapsulating a child in an adult body.
It'll be an interesting discussion midway through the season or at the end of the season why couldn't we just make them, you know, the age of the actors? Why did we have to make them kid minds in grown-up bodies? What was the point of that?
Well, I mean, one is obviously the technology crux. They're trying to show why everybody can't just be put in these bodies, why we're limited to these, as well as like their cost. But it does, like, that brings up the like Stranger Things point of like where I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought we were going to see more kid action, to be honest. Like them doing things in the ship outside of just like capturing the species. So I think we'll see more of that for sure. We're not done with that, but I was expecting when they weren't heading for the ship, I was expecting much more like kid v alien action to appear.
I don't think we got closer to solving that question in episode 3, but I'm looking forward to, I don't know, maybe we would check in on episode 6 and see if we have a better feel for it or not.
Last thing of note, our Moro is able to hack in and talk to Slightly after he put this thing in his neck. Slightly's very confused by this. Does the typical kid thing, which is hide it and not, you know, instead of immediately being like, hey, there's something in my neck and I'm talking to this dude who's probably not on my side, but now they're kind of friends because, again, he doesn't have the emotional maturity to decide who's good and who's bad. Also, he's surrounded by morally ambiguous characters, so I don't know if even the people who are on his quote-unquote side are necessarily good characters either. So that is interesting. So obviously he's going to be used in some way for our boy Moro to get some access. I think I agree with you that he's one of the most interesting characters because we haven't learned much about him yet. We know very little. Noah Hawley does a good job of only letting us peek in on little bits on other character. It makes us do the mental work, the mental gymnastics to figure out who everybody is.
And also he's got the sort of the widest range of outcomes. He's a man with a singular purpose, with nothing left to lose. He doesn't have something that a wife to get back to, a family to get back to. Literally all he has is this objective that he's decided to do. So what won't he do in serving that goal, which is...
He's definitely shown many times over that he's not going to let anything get in his way of doing that. So
he's a charismatic actor, and we've got a real wild card role that he gets to play.
First death in episode 4.
I'm not sure we get a death of anybody that's on your little cheat sheet.
I think it might be Dame Sylvia's husband.
Oh, the guy with the bad balls?
The tech dude. Yep. Arthur Sylvia.
Yeah, that's a fine guess. I'm okay with
Low
that.
sperm count?
Yeah, but I don't think any of our Lost Boys go. I don't think any of our main characters are going this up.
We know that Kirsch understands that the alien eggs are looking for a host, and definitely wanted to make Boy Wonder a host when Kirsch says you need to get out of here. Boy Genius says no humans in the lab at this point. And then he says Kirsch is in charge. And the half grin you get from Kirsch on that makes me very curious. Like that was a good tell as to, like, because I don't think we actually know what Kirsch's like allegiances are at all. Like, I don't think he actually likes his employer all that much, or has a dedication to him. Like, I don't.
He's a robot.
He actually has an allegiance to him.
Like doesn't come into it quite as much, but allegiance is interesting. I mean, he could certainly be allied with our CEO from
I think
Waylon, maybe?
he
That
has
could
some
be-
ulterior motives for sure. I don't know if they're of the level of like he's looking for espionage. I just think he has motives outside of I'm an employee to Prodigy.
Like what?
I think he is not interested in humanity. I think he thinks synthetics are the natural evolution, and that when you take a human consciousness and you put it in a synthetic, as he's tried to convince Wendy, I think he's convinced that is just another synthetic. I don't know what his like ultimate goals are, but I don't think his motivation is just to like help Boy Genius continue to be a trillionaire.
Well, we'll have to watch for it.
All right. Anything else?
Yes. Stay gold.
Stay gold, Pony Boy.